Darksiders 3 is a game I don't hear many people talking about nowadays, which is exactly why I wanted to talk about it. Starting off with a bit of production background, this game is the third in the Darksiders franchise. It was released in 2018 by THQ Nordic and developed by Gunfire Games. I haven't yet played any of the other games in the franchise, despite owning the first one. Starting off with the graphics, I'd personally say that they are absolutely beautiful. They managed to have realistic elements and comic style elements intertwine wonderfully, while still showing a strong divide between the two of them, to really hammer home the invasion of supernatural elements within the world. The comic style graphics is used for the supernatural elements like Fury or her enemies. Aside from the style, the game also features quite nice physics when hitting a car, for example, and also really nice particle effects. The animations for walking and especially fighting are also really nice and smooth, and are joined by alright lip sync and facial animations. The FOV is alright, it can also be increased via mods if you want. The camera work in cutscenes is also pretty nice, though some are definitely better than others. All this works together to create some truly breathtaking vistas and scenes. However, this image is tainted by a lot of frame drop, completely independent of what quality setting I put the game on. These are also joined by completely unprovoked crashes, unless you consider moving through a doorway as one. The music in the game is fitting for both exploration and combat, and has some exceptional tracks. Notable example are most of the boss fight, and also a few for exploration. They definitely fit the tone of the game, but sadly these tracks are the exception to the rule, and most of the OST just stays in the background. A few more bold or even weird ones would have been appreciated. The sound design is another story entirely. It features really satisfying impact sounds in combat, and also really good Foley work. The sad part about sound design really is that if you don't have a lot to say about it, the better the artists have done their job. The story plays out parallel to the events of Darksiders 1. Heaven and Hell are fighting for dominance on Earth. During all the chaos, the 7 deadly sins manage to escape their prison, and Fury is tasked by the Charred Council, an entity charged to uphold the balance, to hunt them down and bring them back to their prison. To this end, she is equipped with the Talisman of Sin, an item that trapped in the sins after they've been beaten, and a Watcher, a ghost following her around. Some twists and turns along the way. However, the actually interesting part is the character of Fury herself. In the beginning, she is rather unlikable. She is the embodiment of all 7 sins combined. She is wrathful, envious, and extremely prideful. However, with each sin you kill, a certain element of her personality is stripped away, becoming much more humble, calm, and altruistic.
I strayed from the path. I have been jealous. I have been wrathful. I have been lazy. Worse and more. All the things the 7 sins stand for, and I have paid dearly for it.
She also becomes far more receptive to humans' plight, so far that she even changes her end goal. The really interesting part about the final boss is that Fury is almost fighting a mirror version of herself, an embodiment of all the sins she has since then shed. Gameplay-wise, the game mainly takes inspiration from Dark Souls, both in gameplay progression and level design. First off, character development and leveling. The player kills enemies or collects items to receive souls, which are fed to Vulgrim, both save points as well as shops and fast travel points, to receive 1 skill point per level. Another way of raising your level would be the use of luminous visages, to immediately raise your level by 1. These are either left behind by some bosses or found in the world. There are 3 stats to upgrade: health, strength, which increases your physical damage, and Arcane, which increases your arcane damage. The latter two are procentual upgrades. The player is also awarded hollows for killing certain sins: Flame, Storm, Force, and Stasis. They are used in both combat and platforming alongside the puzzles. Weapons can also be upgraded to do more damage using adamantine of increasing power level per pack, meaning 12 slivers for +3, 12 fragments for +6, 12 pieces for +9, and a chunk for +10. Combat is divided into 4 ways of attacking. Standard attack with the whip to deal physical damage, attacks with one of the hollow weapons, hammer for force, spear for storm, chains for flame, and the greatsword or twin blade for stasis. These all deal physical damage. Counter attack, one of the above after a perfect or last second dodge, which increases damage based on the arcane stat. There is also a disc given to you which can be imbued with an element and thrown at enemies. The first and second ways of attacking can also be combined together to create some really nice and damaging combos. Attacking charges are both the Wrath Bar, special attack depending on the hollow equip, as well as the Havoc Bar, which when fully charged transforms Fury into an unstoppable killing machine, which deals incredible arcane damage and also regenerates health. These two bars alongside other status effects can be loaded by the game's supportive items. The main healing item is the Nephilim's Respite, which regenerates fully every time Fury dies, and is also recharged with singular charges by killing enemies. This however is RNG dependent, so don't count on it. There are also secondary healing items which don't replenish, but must be bought or found in the world. There are also others which offer temporary stat boosts, like i.e. more physical damage, more arcade, or faster attack speed. The only option of defense is dodging, since blocking with a whip would be pretty stupid. The invincibility window of the dodge is rather small in the beginning, but it can be increased with upgrades to your primary weapon. All these combined make combat fun and challenging, as well as extremely rewarding once you overcome a major roadblock, like a boss for example. Before we move on, I quickly wanted to talk about the bosses. While there are some mini bosses, the main star of the show are the fight against the sins. These are from worst to best. Gluttony. Fuck this guy. He falls up in a weird tentacle thingy and swings around, which is completely undodgeable and requires you to move to the edge of the arena and wait. He also spews toxic puddles, which limit the area in which you can effectively fight him in. He also has the almighty suck, in which he swallows you whole and takes away most, if not all of your HP. As if all that wasn't enough, he also has a fuck ton of HP, which makes the fight take forever. The second phase also takes forever, since you can't always get him to do the suck when you want him to. False Envy. A bit simplistic but sufficient for a tutorial boss. Avarice. Interesting idea with him jumping around, throwing stuff at you, or trying to smash you up close. The only problem is he's a bit too easy. Wrath, round 1. Simplistic but good enough for the early game. All you need to do is dodge his charge a couple of times and he's done for. Sloth. Interesting idea with the throne, but you can't just stay to his side and beat the shit out of him. Number 6. Pride. A beautiful boss fight, but the laser at the end is a bit annoying. Would have been better if it went in circles instead of changing direction on a dime. Wrath. Round 2. Good rematch with a new mechanic for phase 1. He kills the trash mobs to heal. Number 8. Lust. Elegant with a nice surprise for phase 2.
Our deal is revoked.
And finally, the True Envy. Brings back attacks from all the previous bosses and some of her own, but the pistols are a bit annoying. Exploration will be the thing you're doing in between fighting. Your main goal will be to reach the next Vulgrim point to save your progress. You travel through the world by following branching paths which will eventually lead to a dead end. Going down the side paths is mostly used to find useful items like souls or humans to rescue for rewards from the maker. Hollows are required to traverse the map effectively, blocking off parts of the world until the defeat of certain bosses. Each hollow serves their own function. Flame to jump higher, storm to glide, force to break things, move them more quickly, or walk underwater, and stasis to walk on water by freezing it under your feet, or do wall jumps up certain walls. You can also swim and swing with your whip at certain points. The world also offers an impressive amount of interconnectivity through hidden paths or the Nether, the old subway system. Together with all the movement options, this ensures that the world is never boring, and traversing it stays fun. However, there is one area that fails at that in my opinion: the Scar. It is confusing to navigate, overly long, and there are some really annoying segments. The tornado to be exact. Puzzles are quite nice, requiring you to either use one of your hollows or an elemental bug in the early game. However, there is one that deserves a special shout out. Very last one. The tornado. Who the fuck thought this was a good idea? This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Who in their right mind would ever think of lighting a tornado on fire? Did the devs of Armed and Delirious make this? How? It is a shame too, since it and all the effects accompanying it looked so impressive. I went into this game expecting nothing. I had seen none of the trailers, read none of the reviews, and I was surprised. Overall it was a pretty good and fun game, mostly held back by technical issues and a few questionable decisions. I would recommend everyone to play it at least once. Thank you for watching.